Hello, 57's fans. It's Ryan Schweitzer back in Fort McMurray, night number 2 of 2. Swift Current 57's and their first road trip to Fort McMurray to take on the Giants. Last night, the 57's with a convincing 5-0 win, only 6 hits allowed in a shutout effort by Dustin Wells, the left-handed starting pitcher. And of those 6 hits, 4 of them were bunt singles, so the 57's looking to take 2 out of Fort McMurray as of today. Swift Current tied with the Regina Red Sox for first place in the WNBL East. A Swift Current win coupled with a Regina loss yesterday have those teams with identical 20-11 records, 31 games in. And how about those Weyburn Beavers? With a couple wins over the Regina Red Sox and the Swift Current 57's. The Beavers are making some noise. 19-14, 2 games back of the 57's and the Red Sox. Fort McMurray Giants 11-20 after last night's 5-0 loss to the Swift Current 57's. They are tied with Brooks for 5th in the WNBL West and 5.5 games back of the 17-15 Edmonton Prospects for the final playoff spot in the WNBL West Division. Fort McMurray Giants trying an interesting strategy against the 57's tonight. They're going to start a late inning guy. That's Trevor Bauer, known league-wide for that fantastic head of hair that he has. 11 appearances. This will be his first start on the year. 19 2/3 innings of work. He's allowed 16 hits, 5 earned runs, 15 K to 8 walks, 2-0 on the year with 2 saves, and a 2.28 earned run average. So this is a guy that's used to only going 1 or 2 innings at a time with that sidearm delivery. And we'll see how deep he goes against the Swift Current 57's. Leading off tonight for Swift Current, Riley Campbell, who's DHing. Nick Conyas will move up the order and hit second while playing center field. And Blake Adams will play right, wearing number 24. Blake Adams in left field, wearing number 24. It's a night off for Matt Bondarchuk, who is surely looking forward to tomorrow night's game in Edmonton against the Prospects. Hometown game for Bondarchuk, as he'll be playing in front of friends and family. So Trevor Bauer getting ready to go here. He's having a chat with his catcher, Evan Willow. Garrett Takamatsu will play first base for Fort Mac here in the top of the first. Corey Conklin at second. One of the league's top RBI men will play short in Max Hewitt. Keegan Marston at third base, Jordan Stickler in left, Hector Benitez in center, Tyler Freese playing right field. Riley Campbell stepping into the batter's box for the Swift Current 57's. Last night, Campbell caught stealing for the first time this season, now 27 for 28 while stealing bases, hitting .333 on the year. First pitch to Campbell, inside out of the right hand of Trevor Bauer with that sidearm delivery. Campbell .333, 15 runs batted in. He's been walked a team-leading 20 times this year. Campbell through the stretch, and a fastball right across the plate. Strike one against Riley Campbell with Nick Conyas waiting on deck for the Swift Current 57's. Trevor Bauer gets the signal he wants from Willow, and that's just above the feet of the leadoff hitter from Wadsworth, Ohio, Riley Campbell. That's grounded foul by Campbell, hit towards the Fort McMurray dugout. Swift Current 57's coming into this game hitting .288 team batting average. That's 4th in the WNBL. Medicine Hat Mavericks hitting .317 as a unit, followed by the Okotoks Dogs at .304 and the Regina Red Sox at .296 as Bauer. Ground ball by Campbell hit to Max Hewitt, and he puts together a 6-3 to take care of the speedy leadoff hitter for the 57's. Campbell grounds out. Campbell's second game back in the lineup after missing 2 games with an upper body injury. Team ERA is where the Swift Current 57's has shined. Swift only giving up an average of 3.46 runs a game. Fort McMurray middle of the pack when it comes to team ERA stat, as they've given up 4.54 runs against as Bauer. Righty on lefty matchup here against Nick Conyas, who bats left and throws left as well. Conyas playing center field for the 57's in this one, and he pounds one to center field. That's going to one-hop Hector Benitez. And Conyas hitting one on the screws out to center. bringing Blake Adams to the plate with 1 out and 1 on here. We talked about this last night. Baseballs tend to travel farther the higher you are in higher elevation cities. That's evident if you ever watch a game in Okotoks. Fly balls have a habit of making their way over the fence or to the warning track. Fort McMurray, the lowest elevation in all the WNBL. Talking with people who know baseball, pregame text message conversation with Harv Martinez, he said absolutely elevation factors into the way that a baseball travels. So you won't see as many home runs in Fort McMurray, and fastballs will tend to lose about 2 to 3 miles an hour of velocity as well. So Blake Adams with 6 dingers on the year to lead the Swift Current 57's, a degree of difficulty added to his night if he hopes to hit his 7th. Count 0-1 to Adams after Bauer threw a strike on the first pitch. Nick Kanyas checked it first as he slides in safe on the artificial grass here at Fort McMurray. 4 bunt singles last night for the Fort Mac Giants. They get those bunts down and balls just seem to skate through the infield. Pitch is up and in to Adams. Evening things out at 1-1 here. 57's will stay in Fort McMurray tonight and then bus to Edmonton tomorrow for Thursday and Friday battles against the Edmonton Prospects. The next home game for the 57's will be against the Moose Jaw Miller Express this Saturday in Swift. Heads up as Blake Adams hits one just over top of our broadcast location. Trevor Bauer 1-2 ahead of Adams with 1 down, and Nick Kanyas situated at first base. Quick check of Kanyas. Nick hitting .271 on the year. 10 for 12 when it comes to stealing bases. 57's with 90 stolen bases on the year. Hit and run is on. Double play won't be an option. That's a tough play for Max Hewitt, who gets the throw to first, and Blake Adams is safe. Infield single for Adams. Hit and run was on. Kanyas getting to second base in time, and now Kyle McDonald to the plate with 2 on and only 1 out here. McDonald hitting cleanup in this one. That's a spot in the batting order that will be occupied mostly by Bodie Cooper through the home stretch. However, Bodie, lower body injury, sitting this trip out. He's not expected to miss too much time. But just to make sure everything heals up well, Bodie left off the bus back in Swift. Kyle McDonald pounds one to center field, and tracking that down is Benitez in center. Runners all head back, and Kanyas tags up and scampers to third base. So 2 down now. Runner on at third for Esau, the native of Meadow Lake, who comes into this game hitting .289. Esau 5 home runs to go with 19 RBI, so an opportunity for him to hit the 20 milestone here. There's 2 away, though. Trevor Bauer on the mound. Not a big ERA in Bauer, as the relief pitcher gets the start tonight for Fort McMurray. Everything about Bauer's persona says closers. There's a ground ball hit to third, and Esau will be thrown out via the 5-3. And that'll do it for the Swift Current 57's, who are going to strand a couple here. Bottom of the first coming up. It's the Swift Current 57's in Fort McMurray to take on the Giants. It's been 14 months since the wildfire some called the Beast ravaged the urban service area of Fort McMurray. Between 80 and 90,000 people were forced to flee their homes and remain away from Fort McMurray for almost a month, while the 1.5 million acre fire destroyed the forested area. With times in the oil and gas industry forecasted to be not as prosperous as they once were, it's estimated by locals that up to 25,000 people did not return to Fort McMurray after the blaze. The Beast burned for 2 months before it was declared under control. Just under 1,600 buildings and structures were lost in the blaze, including just under 2,600 units of housing. While the fire itself did not claim any human lives, 2 teenage residents were killed in a traffic accident during the massive evacuation. Most of the neighborhood known as Beacon Hill was wiped away from the earth. The Abisan subdivision was also ravaged by the blaze. The estimated total payout in insurance claims was $3.8 billion. More than $300 million has been raised by the Red Cross for recovery efforts. Today, rebuilding efforts continue. The Super 8 hotel that famously burned on Global News has been rebuilt and is nearing its reopening. Construction crews are buzzing in the Beacon Hill and Abisan areas, rebuilding the lost homes. The name Fort McMurray was once synonymous with prosperity. People came from all over the world to live and work here in pursuit of a better life. Now, times are tough. Tonight, it is the pleasure of the Swift Current 57's baseball team to play for the fans that are, and will always be, Fort Mac strong. And welcome back to Swift Current 57's baseball. You can see the remnants of some of the trees that burned in that forest fire out in the distance here, just beyond left field, here at Shell Place Stadium in Fort McMurray. And yes, a pleasure for the Swift Current 57's to be here tonight playing for the Fort Mac strong fans here, providing the opposition against the Fort McMurray Giants. Bottom of the first inning, Jordan Stickler leading off against James Smith III. Smith, a native of Brighton, Colorado. His last action was a July 5th 9-2 win against the Yorkton Cardinals. 6 starts on the year, 37 2/3 innings of work, 15 earned runs, 24-12 strikeout to walk ratio for Smith. He's 4-0 with a 3.58 earned run average. 2-2 count to Jordan Stickler here, who's leading off. Top of the Fort Mac order here. Two-two pitch, ground ball, right back at Smith, who flips to first, and the runner retired. Nice athletic play by Smith. Going up on the elevator and setting up that 1-3 ground out. Talking to the residents in Fort McMurray today as our camera crew was able to take a tour of Beacon Hill in the Abisan area. And can you imagine that? Just evacuating in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Think of the worst rush hour traffic you've ever been, with intense flames on either side of you. Well hit ball. That's hit to right field. However, Nick Conyas is there to make the catch. That one just rocketing off the bat head from Tyler Freese. But once again, the thick, low-elevation air perhaps factoring in there. Shot by Hewitt. That's into the glove of Toole Thibodeau, and a quick 1-2-3 inning for James Smith III in the Swift Current 57's. 1 inning in the books. We were 2 hours, 15 minutes last night, a quick one against the Fort McMurray Giants. We're going to break that tonight and go a little bit quicker. Well, those questions and more will be answered when we return with Swift Current 57's baseball, brought to you by Crop Production Services and Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky Casino.
Celebrate the wonders of our nation this July at Living Sky Casino. Players Club members can swipe daily for their chance to win a train trip across Canada in our From Far and Wide promotion. Bonus entries are also available. Grand prize draw July 31st at 8 p.m. Must be present to win. See Players Club for more details.
Living Sky Casino. Living Sky.
Use your game sense.
At Crop Production Services, we're on in our commitment to farming. As in, it's on, lights on, game on this day and every day. Because through seeding, spraying, and harvest, on isn't an option. It's a marathon of on for farmers. On track, on time, always on. Like CPS in your community. So much riding on your farm. So many ways to profit from our experience. Bring it on. CPS, we're with you.
Welcome back to Swift Current 57's baseball in Fort McMurray. Ryan Schweitzer bringing you the action between the Fort McMurray Giants and the Swift Current 57's, two teams with mirror records. 57's 20-11. 11-20 for the Fort Mac Giants. With the Regina loss last night, the 57's and the Regina Red Sox now tied for first in the WNBL East. Grant Van Scoy leading off here. Trevor Bauer on the mound for the Fort McMurray Giants. Pitch number 15 out of his right hand. Bauer with that delivery during the windup. It looks like it's going to come at you from overhead, but then he just switches to about 9 o'clock with that sidearm delivery. He throws strikes, and he's ahead of Grant Van Scoy. 0-2 here in the top of the second inning. One hopper into the catcher, Evan Willow. Van Scoy coming into this one with a .306 batting average. Van Scoy, Brown, Andrews, 6, 7, 8 in the 57's order. Due up here in the top of the second inning where we're still in a scoreless tie. Swift Current winning 5-0 24 hours ago against the Fort McMurray Giants, scoring 3 runs in the third. How many innings will the Giants get out of Trevor Bauer, a guy who's used to only pitching 1, maybe 2 innings a night? 2 saves on the year for Bauer to lead Fort McMurray. Ground ball by Van Scoy to Max Hewitt. And Hewitt puts together a 6-3 as Van Scoy grounds out to his counterpart at short. Mason Brown to the plate now, 57's catcher. Filling in for Bodie Cooper behind the plate and on movie detail for Movies on the Bus. And the 57's, it was nice to not be on the bus much today other than to just get from the hotel to the ballpark. After plenty of time over the past couple days. These games in Fort McMurray, the farthest a Swift Current WNBL team has ever played from Mitchell Field. Between the 2 home plates of Mitchell Field and Shell Stadium here in Fort McMurray, 1,007 kilometers. Ground ball by Mason Brown. Hit hard to third. Keegan Marston over to first. .53, down goes Mason Brown. Ben Andrews to the plate. Night off last night. Andrews is going to play third base tonight for the 57's. Ben hitting .222 coming into this game. Andrews 3 home runs to go with 13 RBI. .57's as a team still lead the WNBL in home runs with 29 of them. Lethbridge Bulls and the Regina Red Sox, 24 home runs on the year. And the 57's still far and away the leaders in stolen bases throughout the league. Production slowed down a little bit with Riley Campbell out of the lineup over the past 2 games. However, the 57 still with 96 stolen bases in 2017. Moose Jaw Miller Express have 60. Edmonton Prospects and Melville Millionaires have 53 apiece. Fort McMurray Giants near the bottom half of the league, 34. Fewest stolen bases in the league, and this is surprising. Lethbridge Bulls with only 22. Lethbridge, for years, a team that was built on the foundation of speed. But the Bulls hitting for power as Ben Andrews goes down swinging, and it's another 3 up, 3 down half inning here. First strikeout of the game for Trevor Bauer. 57's will be in the field behind James Smith III when we return with 57's Baseball for Crop Production Services and Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky Casino.
Win
Win a jackpot on a select bank of machines to be entered into the weekly draw for rider tickets and merchandise. Draw to be held every Sunday at 8 p.m. Winner does not need to be present to win, but you must be playing with your card to win. Live it up at Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky Casino. Live it up.
Use your game sense. When planning your Swift Current stay, call the Days Inn. Just a short walk from Living Sky Casino and a few minutes from world-class golf, Days Inn offers free Wi-Fi, a continental breakfast to go with newly renovated rooms. Ask about suites with kitchenettes, unwind in the jacuzzi suite. If you're driving a large truck, no problem. There's lots of free parking. The Days Inn is home to locally renowned meeting and banquet facilities as well. Call 306-773-4623. The Days Inn, the host hotel for the Swift Current 57's. Welcome back to hashtag YMM. Ryan Schweitzer and Fort McMurray bringing you the action between the Giants and the Swift Current 57's. James Smith inducing a fly ball. That's it way up there. Nick Kanyas rolling in from center field, and he makes the grab. Two pitchers that clearly aren't getting paid by the hour in Trevor Bauer and James Smith. Smith, that was the 8th pitch of the ball game. Only threw 7 in the first inning. He's got 4 outs in 8 pitches, working efficiently. Going right after Garrett Takamatsu with a strike. Takamatsu 467 in what's been an abbreviated season thus far. This is game number 6 on his year. 7 hits and 15 at-bats for Takamatsu. Smith going right after him, low and away, and it's a 2-1 count. Takamatsu calling time. Ground ball by the infielder. Takamatsu coming to Fort McMurray by way of Burlington, Ontario. Ground ball, and that'll be the first hit of the ball game as Takamatsu singles up the middle. Giants have a runner on here in the bottom of the second in a scoreless tie thus far between the 57's and Fort Mac. Hector Benitez to take a turn. Benitez hitting .310. 6 runs batted in on the year, 25 games played. So runner on for the Fort Mac Giants is Garrett Takamatsu. Hit to center field. Nick Kanyas will have his number called again. And Kanyas playing center field where we would normally see Matt Bondarchuk. Makes the catch. Night off for Bondarchuk, who will likely play both games in Edmonton in front of friends and family, as Josh Snyder, designated hitter, comes to the plate. Snyder batting .261. Righty on lefty matchup here as Smith. Fastball. About letter high to Snyder, and it's a 1-0 count. Snyder representing the number 7 spot in Fort McMurray's batting order here. Fastball just a bit too inside. Missing the plate from Smith. Strike called, 2-1. Fastball right across the plate. Smith going right after him. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 away here in the bottom of the second inning. Smith induces a foul ball into the backstop. On deck hitter Evan Willow grabbing that foul ball. And another 2-2 pitch forthcoming to Snyder. This time he fouls one over towards the 57's dugout, and Smith being forced to throw a few more pitches here after a 7-pitch first inning. He's about to release pitch number 22 of the second. He's got 2 down, though. And that's fouled off. Josh Snyder battling with Smith here. Snyder out of Moses Lake, Washington, Thompson Rivers University, just finishing his sophomore season. Well hit ball just past Grant Van Scoy, singling up the middle. The advancing Takamatsu. Pair of singles in the second inning, have 2 on with 2 out here. And Evan Willow to the plate. Willow with a home run and 7 RBI. Hitting just below the Mendoza line at 197. 12 hits and 61 at bats. Willow out of Victoria. 2 down and 2 on. Shot by Willow, fouled off. Righty versus righty matchup here. Garrett Takamatsu at second, Josh Snyder, who singled moments ago at first base. There's a well-hit ball into the outfield. Brett Esau chases after it. It's over his head. And the Fort McMurray Giants are going to plate their first runner of this series with the Swift Current 57's. 1 scores, 2 scores, and it's a double for Evan Willow. An RBI double to bring in 2. Mason Brown with some words of reassurance to James Smith. 3 hits here have put the Giants on the board, and it's 2-0. Number 9 hitter is second baseman Corey Conklin. We talked about how balls tend not to travel too far here in Fort McMurray because of the low elevation, but a well-hit ball by Evan Willow over top of the outfielders who are playing shallow. Puts him at second base and puts the Giants on the board after a 5-0 loss last night to the 57's. Giants with their first run here. Took them 11 innings to do so. There's another shot hit to center field, but Nick Conyas is there to catch the ball. All 3 outs this inning. Fly out to 8 as Nick Conyas is busy. RBI double from Evan Willow that scores 2 have the Fort McMurray Giants up a deuce. 2-0. Swift Current will look to respond when we return with 57's baseball.
At the Hearing Place, we're making a positive difference in the lives of our clients' hearing health. We are a full-time, fully licensed hearing health care facility. Our goal is to improve and maintain our clients' hearing health with personal attention and ongoing support. As an audiologist with more than 15 years experience, I work with clients of all ages, including toddlers and newborns. This is not only my vocation, but my passion. When you come into the Hearing Place, you will receive a complete diagnostic hearing evaluation using state-of-the-art equipment. We talk about the specific reasons for your visit and the hearing situations you find most difficult. We then discuss the hearing options that are right for you, your budget, and your lifestyle. The end goal is to ensure you leave with the knowledge and confidence about your future of hearing health. The Hearing Place. For more information, visit www.thehearingplace.ca.
Well, a lot more smiles at the ballpark tonight in Fort McMurray as the hometown Giants up a deuce here, putting up a crooked number in the bottom of the second. And they lead the 57's 2-0. OG, the Giants mascot, out there, firing up a couple of the youngsters. So the 57's, for the first time on this road swing, are trailing. Cole Thibodeau, Riley Campbell, Nick Conyas and company will try and change that against Trevor Bauer and the Fort Mac Giants. 2 innings of work thus far for Bauer, the reliever, who's not used to going multiple innings. 11 appearances, 19.2 innings pitched. This is his first start of 2017. Cole Thibodeau will be his first task. Cole Thibodeau bringing some offense to the bottom of the Swift Current batting order, hitting a team-leading .351 coming into this game. There's that sidearm delivery from Bauer. And first pitch to Thibodeau, low and away for a 1-0 count. We will have the Living Sky Casino Crop Production Services webcast live for you tomorrow and Friday, live from Edmonton. 7:05 first pitches in those ones. Next home game for the 57's, hoping for a packed Mitchell Field on Saturday night against the Moose Jaw Miller Express. Bauer behind Thibodeau 2-0. And we'll see if Bauer has a 2-inning best before date here. 2-0 pitch, crosses the plate for a strike, and it's 2-1. Thibodeau 3 takes thus far. Bauer, ground ball, low velocity roller. Third baseman has trouble handling that, and Thibodeau's able to leg it out. As Keegan Marston had to double clutch that throw, and the always effective swinging bunt improves Thibodeau's .351. Third hit of the ballgame for the 57's. And now top of the order with Riley Campbell coming to the plate. You can follow me on Twitter at Ryan_Schweitzer, SWITZER. Tomorrow night is going to be a big one in the community of Fort McMurray, as on the adjacent football field, they're setting up for a Toby Keith concert. Members of Toby Keith's road crew staying in our hotel here in Fort McMurray. It's a massive stage to set up. McDonald Island Park, the venue here. You can see the football field off in the distance there. See the goalpost. That's where the Toby Keith concert's going to happen. I got a picture of the setup on my Twitter account at Ryan_Schweitzer if you want to check that out. As Riley Campbell, a long strike, fouling that one off. Count to Campbell 0-1 after Cole Thibodeau was checked a couple times as we talked about Toby Keith concerts. Runner checked over at first. That's Thibodeau. 57's playing 4 games in a row on turf infields as well as Remax Field in Edmonton. They have the grass outfield but a turf infield. It's all turf here in Fort McMurray. The artificial grass type setup, giving you a feel of grass, but balls certainly move a lot quicker. Riley Campbell. Thibodeau in motion. Nope. Thibodeau scurrying back to first. Snap throw by the catcher. Tibby safe. Trevor Bauer throwing to Evan Willow. Garrett Takamatsu playing first. Corey Conklin at second. Max Hewitt as the shortstop. Keegan Marsden at third. Jordan Stickler in left. Hector Benitez in center. Tyler Freese in right field. DH tonight for the Giants is Josh Snyder. Second at bat of the game for Riley Campbell, who grounded out to short his last time up. He's going to hit this one in the outfield. Hit to shallow center, and making the catch is Benitez. One down. Nick Conyas, who singled and was stranded in the first inning for the 57's, takes turn number 2 at the plate. Conyas now hitting .279 in 2017, his first summer in the WNBL, product of San Antonio, Texas. Cole Thibodeau at first base, taking a large lead and feigning like he was going to steal second before retreating back to first. Thibodeau 8 for 9 in the stolen base department. Sidearm delivery, opposite field shot by Kanyas as he hits that to left field. Catch made by Jordan Stickler. 2 away, Cole Thibodeau remains at first base. Infield single to third the last time Blake Adams was up. Adams still with the second most runs batted in the league with 33 of them. 7 now behind Broderick Rodacher of the Regina Red Sox. Trevor Bauer induces a pitch that is singled by Adams into center field. Well hit ball by Blake, and he's 2 for 2 this evening. So Cole Thibodeau at second base. Kyle McDonald to the plate now for the 57's with Adams on at first. And Thibodeau at second. McDonald flying out to center field his last time up. Starting pitcher in this one is Trevor Bauer for the Fort McMurray Giants, the native of 29 Palms, California. 36 pitches to get to Kyle McDonald. McDonald launches one deep to right center. However, getting where he needs to be and making the catch is Hector Benitez. Allowed out by McDonald. Couple stranded by the 57's. Bottom of 3 coming up, still a 2-0 lead for the Fort McMurray Giants. James Smith III and the 57's defense will try and keep it that way when we return with Crop Production Services, Living Sky Casino, 57's Baseball.
At Crop Production Services, we're on in our commitment to farming. As in, it's on, lights on, game on this day and every day. Because through seeding, spraying, and harvest, on isn't an option. It's a marathon of on for farmers. On track, on time, always on. Like CPS in your community. So much riding on your farm. So many ways to profit from our experience. Bring it on. CPS, we're with you.
When you need to unwind, visit Smiley's Lounge at the Days Inn Swift Current. Smiley's offers daily food specials and a full menu. Ask about their daily homemade soup and a wide variety of wings. Need something to go? Visit their off sale, selling cold beer, hard liquor, wine and coolers, and all the ice you need. Need takeout or a catering service? Call 306-778-4600. Smiley's Lounge, North Service Road East, Swift Current.
Welcome back to Swift Current 57's Baseball. James Smith III getting set to work against the lower part of the Giants' order and wearing one in the back, as the leadoff hitter Jordan Stickler, who's hit by that pitch. He'll advance to first here with none out. So the leadoff guy is on. Jordan Stickler hit by a pitch in the middle of the back. Stickler 4 for 5 stealing bases. And Fort Mac gets that bunt down. 4 bunt singles last night. Runners thrown out at first. However, they get the job done by advancing the runner to second. Bringing Max Hewitt to the plate with 1 out. Only 2 players in the entire WNBL have more runs batted in than Max Hewitt. Blake Adams of the 57's and Broderick Rodacher of the Regina Red Sox. Hewitt grounded out to short his last time up. With 31 runs batted in on the year. And a runner in scoring position for him, Jordan Stickler, who was hit. Ground ball to short. Grant Van Scoy throws him out at first. Runner advances to third in the process. Keegan Marston to the plate with 2 down, and Fort McMurray up 2. That's sprayed to left field where Blake Adams will make the catch, and one is stranded for the Fort McMurray Giants. Jordan Stickler hit by a pitch, getting on first, but no damage done from that. 4 up, 3 down, and the 57's trailing by 2 will get on the sticks when we return with Swift Current 57's Baseball, brought to you by Crop Production Services and Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky.
Celebrate the wonders of our nation this July at Living Sky Casino. Players Club members can swipe daily for their chance to win a train trip across Canada in our From Far and Wide promotion. Bonus entries are also available. Grand prize draw July 31st at 8 p.m. Must be present to win. See Players Club for more details.
Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky.
Use your game sense.
Thank you to Swift Current Building Supplies for providing the materials for the new patio at Mitchell Field.
See Swift Current Building Supplies for all types of lumber, kitchen hardware, tools, power tools, fence, and shed packages.
At your one stop, we carry everything shop for building and renovation.
Building supplies, farm and ranch, construction, paints, and decor. Swift Current Building Supplies, Swift Current's complete home and farm building supply center. Highway 1 West.
Welcome back to Swift Current 57's Baseball. Ryan Schweitzer and Fort McMurray bringing you the action. Live on the YouTube between the Swift Current 57's and the Fort McMurray Giants. Brett Esau to lead off for Swift. Esau coming into this at bat, 286 on the year. Trevor Bauer, his 4th inning of work. A late inning relief guy starting on the bump tonight for Fort McMurray. First pitch from Bauer. Change up inside to Esau, and it's a 1-0 count. Oh. Esau 1-1 the count here. Ground ball off the pitcher's mound, and Esau belts that into the outfield. Fifth hit of the ball game for the Swift Current 57's, who trail at 2-0 here in the top of the 4th. Grant Van Scoy will take a turn now for Swift. Van Scoy grounded out to short his last time up. Mason Brown is on deck for the 57's. So Brett Esau at first base. First pitch to Grant Van Scoy, just a bit outside. Haven't had a ton of guests on the webcast this year, but we got one now. Starting pitcher last night with the complete game win. Dustin Wells joining us, lefty pitcher for the Swift Current 57's. Complete game. Didn't take you a ton of pitches to do it. A couple of innings where he worked really efficiently. How does the wing feel today?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good today. Pretty sore, usual. You know, especially after taking one off the shoulder yesterday on a line drive right back to me. That made me a little bit more sore than I usually am. But keeping up with my usual routine is going to help me get back to where I need to be.
That was your third start. This is your first season in the WNBL. What's your assessment of the league and the level of competition that you faced up here?
Well, so far, I believe that there's a lot of good hitters out there, a lot of respectable teams. Regardless, you have to go into it respecting your opponent, but I feel like this is good competition and good learning experience for me overall.
You're down in the dugout for this one. Team down 2-0 tonight. What's your assessment of this game thus far as Van Scoy strike 2, a swinging strike against Trevor Bauer?
Oh, it's still pretty early, We're not too worried yet. We're just going to keep cracking away, and hopefully some of these hits that we're getting, because we're making solid contact, will come down and fall.
Got to ask you the decision to go with the mustache this year. Not just everyone can pull off that look, but you can. Talk about the decision to go with that. A summer thing? Or?
It's a summer thing. So last year I went with the full beard and I grew it all out, and by the end of the summer I had a nice Raleigh fingers stash. So that's my goal this summer, is to keep the stash, maybe keep the soul patch. I'm still iffy on it. I got people that are going both ways with me on that one. But no, the goal right now is Raleigh fingers.
This road swing for the Swift Current 57's over the past few is Van Scoy hits one into right field. That's going to head foul. No one will be able to get to it. This road swing for the 57's, a few guys nicked up, but in general, from a player's perspective, how's everyone holding up?
Oh, it's that time of the summer where, everybody's getting a little tired, but this group of guys is a tough group, and we're going to push through whatever aches, pains, and tiredness that we have.
You're a George Fox guy. That's a school that's been good to the Swift Current WNBL team over the years. How did you get connected with the Swift Current 57's?
So Taylor Hunter used to play for Joe back in 2010, I believe, when they won the whole thing. So he's the assistant coach to my head coach, basically his son. And I got a text about a couple weeks ago saying that Joe needed pitching, and me being available and having nothing to do, I accepted.
Ever heard of Swift Current Saskatchewan before you got that text message?
No, I did not, but I was excited because, I've been up to Victoria, British Columbia. I've been up to Kelowna, British Columbia. Honestly, it wasn't exactly what I expected. I thought there was going to be more trees and more evergreen, but I will take the farmland and run with it. It's a nice place to play. I like our field.
Right on, Dustin. We'll let you get back down to the dugout and be some support for your teammates tonight. Greatly appreciate you stopping up here, man. Right on. Dustin Wells got the win last night. 5-1 complete game shutout. Joining us here with the 57's. Trailing 2-0, but knocking on the door here. Nobody out, and they've got runners on at first and second. As moments ago, Grant Van Scoy, you saw him reach via the E5, and Brett Esau with a single. So we thank Dustin Wells for popping up here and giving us his thoughts on how this game is going and his thoughts on how the summer's going. His first summer in Swift Current. Native of Glendale, Arizona. Complete game shutout last night. Allowed 6 hits, 4 of them bunt singles, so really only 2 base hits off of Wells last night. 2 conventional base hits. Showing bunt now is Mason Brown with nobody out and runners on at second and third, 1-1 the count. 57's assistant coach Eric Dorton relays the signals to runners and hitter. Garrett Takamatsu looking to get right after Mason Brown, and now it's going to be 2 strikes against Brown as couldn't get that bunt down. So Brown more than likely swinging away with the count 1-2 here. Ben Andrews on deck. Swinging strike. Second strikeout of the game for Trevor Bauer. So a couple on, one via hit, one via error for the Swift Current 57's, a single from Brett Esau, and a misplayed ball by the third baseman hit by Grant Van Scoy. Fort Mac not out of the woods yet, 1 down with 2 on here for the Swift Current 57's. They trail 2-0. A sidearm pitch, fastball up, a rising pitch. Released at about knee level, caught just below the letters of Ben Andrews out of Shoreline, Washington. Ben batting .219, 3 home runs, 13 RBI. Pitch is just a bit outside. Bauer about to throw his 50th pitch of this ball game to Andrews. Ground ball hit to third. Marsden gets one, and a double play is turned. 57's are threatening, or were threatening. But that does it for the Swift Current attack here in the top of the 4th inning. Bottom of 4 coming up. Swifty trails at 2-0. Back with more 57's baseball after these.
At Crop Production Services, we're on in our commitment to farming. As in, it's on, lights on, game on this day and every day. Because through seeding, spraying, and harvest, on isn't an option. It's a marathon of on for farmers. On track, on time, always on. Like CPS in your community. So much riding on your farm. So many ways to profit from our experience. Bring it on. CPS, we're with you.
Welcome back to Swift Current 57's baseball. Ryan Schweitzer in Fort McMurray, where the Giants have a 2-0 lead on the 57's. Swift with a 5-0 win last night. G-Men putting 2 up in the 2nd inning. James Smith out of Brighton, Colorado on the mound for the 57's. His last action 1 week ago, July 5th, pitching in a 9-2 win in Yorkton. Smith, the native of Brighton, Colorado. Five, 6, 7 due up for Fort Mac. Takamatsu, Hector Benitez, and Josh Snyder. Takamatsu singling the last time he was up. This is his 6th game of the year. He's got a batting average of .500. Eight hits and 16 at-bats for Takamatsu. Hits a ground ball to Grant Van Scoy, who throws him out at first. Fort Mac center fielder Hector Benitez flew out to Nick Kanyas his last time up. Kanyas in center field. Night off for Matt Bondarchuk, who's looking forward to playing 2 games in front of friends and family in Edmonton tomorrow night and Friday. Hector Benitez at the plate now. 57's will stay in Fort McMurray tonight and depart for Edmonton. It's about a 4.5-hour bus ride for tomorrow. 7:05 first pitch at Remax Field. Fair ball hit to the first baseman, and Kyle McDonald will step on the bag for the unassisted out. It's a return to the scene of the crime for the Swift Current 57's as they captured the 2016 WNBL Championship in Edmonton. Josh Snyder with a single in this game. And a run scored. He's hitting .271 on the year. Snyder 8 runs batted in 2017. Fouls that one off. Hit toward the adjacent football field, part of Shell Place at McDonald Island Park here in Fort McMurray. Just an amazing facility, McDonald Island Park. Baseball field, football field. An integrated facility. Swimming pool in it. Field house not far away. Fouled off by Snyder. Snyder ground ball, fouled towards the 57's dugout. James Smith. Fly ball, hit up. Grant Van Scoy, the shortstop, makes the catch, and that'll do it for the Fort McMurray Giants in the bottom of the fourth. Still a 2-0 Fort McMurray lead, top of the fifth coming up. We'll be back shortly with Swift Current 57's baseball for Crop Production Services and Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky.
Win a jackpot on a select bank of machines to be entered into the weekly draw for rider tickets and merchandise. Draw to be held every Sunday at 8 p.m. Winner does not need to be present to win, but you must be playing with your card to win. Live it up at Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky.
Use your game sense.
At Crop Production Services, we're on in our commitment to farming. As in, it's on, lights on, game on this day and every day. Because through seeding, spraying, and harvest, on isn't an option. It's a marathon of on for farmers. On track, on time, always on. Like CPS in your community. So much riding on your farm. So many ways to profit from our experience. Bring it on. CPS, we're with you.
Welcome back to Swift Current 57's baseball in Fort McMurray. Ryan Schweitzer bringing you the action between the 57's and the Fort McMurray Giants. Fort Mac with a 2-0 lead here in the fifth inning. Two-level stadium here. You got the suites and the luxury boxes up top. There's the Fort Mac Strong below. Coming to check out this one between their hometown Fort McMurray Giants and the Swift Current 57's. First trip to Fort McMurray for the Swift Current squad, as Cole Thibodeau leading off here in a 9-1-2 inning for the 57's. Thibodeau singled his last time up. Trevor Bauer, 54 pitches in this game. Fouled off by Thibodeau. Top of the fifth inning. 54 pitches through 4. Not bad work at all for Bauer. First start of the year for the Fort McMurray right-handed sidearm pitcher. Bauer out of 29 Palms, California. He induces a foul ball by Thibodeau. First start of 2017 for Bauer, 11 appearances, 19.2 innings of work. So he's used to 2 innings on the job. He's done 4 complete thus far as Thibodeau continues to battle with him and fouls another one into the screen. Count remaining at 1-2. Thibodeau with his back foot almost outside the batter's box, well back, and fouls another one off. Swift Current 57's. Among the best in the league for team batting average, hitting .288 as a unit coming into this one, 4th best. Credit where credit's due to the Fort McMurray starting pitcher, Trevor Bauer. A guy who pitches 2 innings at a time, keeping one of the top offensive teams in the league off the scoreboard through 4 as Thibodeau flares one into the outfield, and that's the 57's 6th hit of this ball game. Thibodeau 2 for 2. Just another hit for Thibodeau. He just collecting them this year. Thibodeau 28 for 78 with batting average just above 350. And the 57's turn the order over again as Riley Campbell makes his way to the plate. Campbell 327 batting average coming into this at bat. 0 for 2 this game, so you have to think that Campbell may be due. Shot by Campbell, and a seeing eye single through the 5-6 gap. Campbell now 1 for 3. Nick Kanyas to the plate. .57's with 2 on right now in this 2-0 Fort McMurray lead. Swift Current has left 5 on base in total. Kanyas, that bunt just scooting right along the carpet. Runners advance. And Kanyas out at first. Runners at second and third now. Kanyas gets the job done with that bunt, putting Campbell at second and Thibodeau on at first with none away. Now 1 down after the sack bunt. 1 away and Blake Adams to the plate. Home plate umpire halting things here. And I believe that the umpire has just ejected a player for the Fort Mac Giants. I believe Josh Snyder has been tossed from this one. He was debating balls and strikes, and Snyder ejected. And Trevor Bauer doesn't want to continue until he can scrape some of the mud off of his cleats here on the mound. It's been a very steady day of light rain here in Fort McMurray. Rain never really pounding the community, but never really letting up either. Just very light rain. So Bauer's going to clean the shoes off here. And we're not sure if Snyder was ejected or if he was just the player who was summoned to go get the spike to clean the shoes of Snyder, or of Bauer, rather. The umpire popping up, saying something to the dugout, and then Snyder disappeared after that. But it may have been to just get an implement to clean the shoes. Guess we'll see when Snyder's next at bat happens here. 2-0 count to Blake Adams. 57's dugout is vocal now. Strike called to Adams on a pitch that looked about letter height from here, but 2-1 count with one away here in the top of the fifth inning. 2-0, the Fort McMurray Giants lead it. 57's out hitting Fort Mac 7-3, but Swift has stranded 5 runners over 4 innings thus far. Fastball up and out to Adams, and it's a 3-1 count. Kyle McDonald on deck. Adams hitting .347, McDonald hitting .275. Adams, one of the league's RBI leaders, second most across the land. 3-1 pitch. And that one inside catches the thigh of Adams. And that fills the empty base at first, and with one away, you have to wonder if that wasn't an unintentional, intentional walk type scenario. As Bauer going out of his way to not give Blake Adams much to work with. So Kyle McDonald at the plate now, Brett Esau on deck. McDonald thus far 0 for 2, hitting .275 coming into this game. Three on for the 57's. First pitch fastball just a bit up to McDonald. 3 on, 1 away. Blake Adams at first, Riley Campbell at second, Cole Thibodeau at third. Thibodeau and Campbell with singles. Nick Conyas advancing them via the sac bunt. Blake Adams hit by a pitch, wearing one in the thigh. 1-0 count. McDonald ground ball, potential for 2, 4, 6, and 3. And once again, the Fort McMurray Giants dodge a bullet and get themselves out of trouble. Still a 2-0 lead for the home team. Back with more Swift Current 57's baseball after these.
Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky.
Live it up.
Celebrate the wonders of our nation this July at Living Sky Casino. Players Club members can swipe daily for their chance to win a train trip across Canada in our From Far and Wide promotion. Bonus entries are also available. Grand prize draw July 31st at 8 p.m. Must be present to win. See Players Club for more details.
Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky.
Live it up.
Use your game sense. When planning your Swift Current stay, call the Days Inn. Just a short walk from Living Sky Casino and a few minutes from world-class golf, Days Inn offers free Wi-Fi, a continental breakfast to go with newly renovated rooms. Ask about suites with kitchenettes, unwind in the jacuzzi suite. If you're driving a large truck, no problem. There's lots of free parking. The Days Inn is home to locally renowned meeting and banquet facilities as well. Call 306-773-4623. The Days Inn, the host hotel for the Swift Current 57's.
Welcome back to Swift Current 57's baseball. Ryan Schweitzer bringing you the balls and strikes and everything else between the 57's and the Fort McMurray Giants. One hopper by James Smith. Over top of Evan Willow, 8-9-1 due up. Willow with an RBI double that brought in 2 runs. He calls timeout in mid-windup. Willow gets that to Grant Van Scoy at short, who ventures into the outfield to make the catch.
Number 7, second baseman, Corey Conklin.
In the second inning, Garrett Takamatsu singled. And then Josh Snyder had a single, and with one away, Evan Willow had an RBI double that brought in two. That's the difference in this contest and how we have this 2-0 Fort McMurray Giant lead. James Smith III winds up as that pitch is fouled towards the adjacent football field. Football field will host a Toby Keith concert tomorrow as that baseball is drilled off the metal overhang here in Fort McMurray. Nothing in two, the count to Corey Conklin, who flew out to center field his last time up. Conklin fouls that into the backstop. Conklin from Corvallis, Oregon. 0-2 from Smith. And Conklin continues to battle with him. Conklin flying out to center field his last time up, 169 batting average in 2017. Bottom of the fifth inning. Another fast-moving game here in Fort Mac as the 0-2 pitch from Smith doesn't miss by much, trying to paint the outside corner in this righty versus lefty matchup. Count is 1-2, one down here. Smith, breaking ball. Hit to Van Scoy. Nice play by Van Scoy to track that ball down and get the 6-3 out. Grant Van Scoy, the sure-handed shortstop for the 57's. Heck of a play moments ago. Great lateral movement to track that ball down. Slide for it and make the throw to first. For a nice-looking 6-3. Two down now. Top of the order in Jordan Stickler, who's grounded out to the pitcher and been hit by a pitch in his previous two at-bats this game. Road Crew's setting up for a Toby Keith concert next door to this ball game. Toby Keith will play here tomorrow night. 57 sadly won't be able to enjoy Red Solo Cup and other such hits live. They'll be in Edmonton. Two-two pitch. Smith. Called. Well, ball. Righty on righty, and I thought Smith had the outside corner there, but full count now. Two strikeouts in this game, both by Trevor Bauer. That's a fly ball hit to left field. Blake Adams makes the catch. So that'll do it for the Fort McMurray Giants. 5 innings in the books. Top of 6 coming up. 57's trailing this one by a deuce. Back with more 57's baseball for Crop Production Services and Living Sky Casino after this.
At the Hearing Place, we're making a positive difference in the lives of our clients' hearing health. We are a full-time, fully licensed hearing health care facility. Our goal is to improve and maintain our clients' hearing health with personal attention and ongoing support. As an audiologist with more than 15 years' experience, I work with clients of all ages, including toddlers and newborns. This is not only my vocation, but my passion. When you come into the Hearing Place, you will receive a complete diagnostic hearing evaluation using state-of-the-art equipment. We talk about the specific reasons for your visit and the hearing situations you find most difficult. We then discuss the hearing options that are right for you, your budget, and your lifestyle. The end goal is to ensure you leave with the knowledge and confidence about your future of hearing health. The Hearing Place. For more information, visit www.thehearingplace.ca.
Welcome back to Swift Current 57's baseball in Fort McMurray. Our heroes in green trailing the locals 2-0 here. Good start for Trevor Bauer on the mound for Fort Mac, thus far going 5 innings. He's allowed 7 hits, struck out 2, and has kept the Swift Current 57's off the board. Brett Esau to lead off for the 57's, who are going to go Esau, Grant Van Scoy, and Mason Brown. Esau a single, and he's grounded out. 57's trailing 2-0. They've uncharacteristically left 7 on base in this one. Brett Esau, 1-1 count. Fastball from Bauer, and it's now 1-2 to the native of Meadow Lake. '75th pitch of the ball game from Bauer. Here it comes, and he strikes out Brett Esau with it. Trevor Bauer getting the start in this one for the Fort McMurray Giants, his first start of the year. Here's a guy who's used to throwing 20 pitches a night, 2 innings of work, who's closing in on 80 here in his 6th inning on the job. Now, he hasn't pitched in 7 days. He last appeared at a game in Brooks, a 9-4 win for Fort McMurray on July 5th, as a ground ball from Van Scoy finds its way into the outfield. And Van Scoy, who's been a bit of a pest for Fort McMurray, reached via E5 the last time he was up, and this time a solid single up the middle by the native of Papillion, Nebraska. So Bauer went 6 innings in relief in a 9-4 win in Brooks 1 week ago. 1 earned run, allowed 7 hits, striking out 7 and walking 3, facing 27 hitters. Now facing Mason Brown with 1 out. This will be the 25th batter that Bauer's faced in this one. 57's with 8 hits off of him, but we talked about how they've stranded 7 out there. So Swift has knocked a few times, but just haven't been able to kick the door in offensively, and 57's have a 2-0 lead as a result of it, as the runner is checked. Van Scoy safe by the tips of his fingers. Van Scoy checked over at first yet again. league-leading 96 stolen bases as a team for the Swift Current 57's. Grant Van Scoy responsible for 6 of them. As Bauer. Fastball across the plate, and the count is 1-1 to Mason Brown. Grant Van Scoy leads off. Shot by Brown, hit deep to left field, and that will exit the ballpark foul. With Van Scoy at first and the count 1-2. Shot by Brown. Sent that one right towards your living room. And another foul ball by Brown, making Trevor Bauer throw everything at him here in the top of the 6th inning. Swinging strike on the high fastball. Sidearm fastball that standed about belt level and went letter high. And Trevor Bauer. Key strikeout there as the 57's had a runner on with 1 down, now 2 away. Ben Andrews to take a turn now. Runner over at first is checked. Van Scoy. It's his hand on the base and is safe. '57's with their 96 stolen bases to lead the league haven't been able to rack up too many more here in Fort McMurray over these past 2 games. The Giants have kept them in check. Grant Van Scoy in motion though, and he'll take second base uncontested. 97th bag of the year for the 57's. So 2 away. Van Scoy putting himself into scoring position now. Ben Andrews 0 for 2 this game. Strike is called on that pitch just above the belt. 1-1 the count. Bauer and Andrews. Van Scoy leads off at second. Bauer and his catcher Evan Willow agree on a pitch. 1.5 feet off the plate offering to Andrews, and 2-1 now the count with 2 down here in the top of the 6th inning. 2-0 lead for the Fort McMurray Giants. Ben Andrews and the Swift Current 57's trying to string together some hits and get someone across the plate here. Ball's drilled by Andrews out of the park, foul. Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away here. '87 pitches from Bauer thus far in this one. He's about to uncork number 88 of his evening. And Andrews, ground ball along the turf. Third baseman Keegan Marsden gets Ben at first. And Swift strands their 8th runner of the game. Bottom of 6 is done, or top of 6 is done. Bottom of 6 is coming up. We'll have it for you when we return with Swift Current 57's baseball.
At Crop Production Services, we're on in our commitment to farming. As in, it's on, lights on, game on this day and every day. Because through seeding, spraying, and harvest, on isn't an option. It's a marathon of on for farmers. On track, on time, always on. Like CPS in your community. So much riding on your farm. So many ways to profit from our experience. Bring it on. CPS, we're with you.
When you need to unwind, visit Smiley's Lounge at the Days Inn Swift Current. Smiley's offers daily food specials and a full menu. Ask about their daily homemade soup and a wide variety of wings. Need something to go? Visit their off sale selling cold beer, hard liquor, wine and coolers, and all the ice you need. Need takeout or a catering service? Call 306-778-4600. Smiley's Lounge, North Service Road East, Swift Current.
Welcome back to Swift Current 57's baseball in Fort McMurray. Sun setting in the western sky. Well, the sun descending in the western sky. The days are long here. Local sunset time at about 10:15. It's likely getting dark wherever you were, but we still got plenty of time for daylight here. Lights are on in Fort McMurray. Tyler Freese leading off, .277 batting average on the year. James Smith, who hasn't had to throw a lot in this one. That's pitch number 59 of his game as it goes past Mason Brown. Swift Current 57's have had an abundance of opportunities in this one. They've stranded 8 hitters. Fort McMurray Giants, not so much. They made some hay while the sun was shining in the second inning. An RBI double that brought in 2 from Evan Willow. Showing bunt is Freese, who hits second in Fort Mac's batting order. He got a bunt down that advanced runners last time he was up. As Freese fouls that off himself. Full count now, 3-2. Tyler Freese, Max Hewitt, and Keegan Marston due up for the Giants. 3-2 pitch. And the native of Appleton, Wisconsin, is walked by James Smith.
Your shortstop, number 2, Max Hewitt.
Runners on for Max Hewitt, which is a dangerous proposition. Hewitt, 31 runs batted in this year. Hewitt leads the West Division in runs batted in, 3rd overall in the league behind Broderick Rodocker of Regina and Blake Adams of the 57's. Gets a bunt down this time. Smith hurries that throw to first. They get Hewitt, but the runner advances to second.
Your third baseman, number 19.
57's having an easier time fielding bunts in this one as the fast-moving turf here in Fort Mac allowed the Giants to get 4 bunt singles off Dustin Wells last night. You take bunt singles out of the equation, and Wells threw a 2-hit shutout last night. Fastball from Smith, just a bit low to Keegan Marston, the third baseman for Fort McMurray. Hard hit ball at Kyle McDonald, who puts his person in front of that one and gets the unassisted out at first.
Number 12, first baseman, Garrett Takamatsu.
Takamatsu 1 for 2 this game, singling. Takamatsu also touched home plate for one of the 2 Fort McMurray runs. James Smith now with a runner on third. Fly ball. Nick Conyas, center field, makes the catch. So the Giants strand 1 here. 6 innings in the books. Top of 7 coming up as we get to the late innings in this one. It's still a 2-0 Fort McMurray lead on Swift Current 57's baseball.
Win a jackpot on a select bank of machines to be entered into the weekly draw for rider tickets and merchandise. Draw to be held every Sunday at 8 p.m. Winner does not need to be present to win, but you must be playing with your card to win. Live it up at Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky.
Use your game sense.
Happy to be with you tonight here in Fort McMurray, where the hometown Giants have a 2-0 lead on the Swift Current 57's. Fort McMurray looking for a split against the 57's after a 5-0 road win last night for Swifty. Trevor Bauer, the story in this one. Relief pitcher that's gone 6 innings thus far, allowing 8 hits, striking out 4. He's faced 26 thus far. Number 27 of his night will be Cole Thibodeau. 87 pitches thrown by Bauer. He's a relief pitcher, but he hasn't seen action for a week. He went 6 innings in relief against the Brooks Bombers in a 9-4 win on July 5th. So Bauer, his first start of the year. Fort Mac starting to have guys stretch in their bullpen. But Patrick Riley, the manager here in Fort Mac, and pitching coach Ian Sanderson have got to be thrilled with the 6 innings so far that they've got out of Trevor Bauer. Top of the 7th, Cole Thibodeau to the plate. Tibby's been a pest for Fort Mac to deal with. A couple of hits in this one, 2 singles. As he's flared his way onto base twice in this one. Showing bunt, fastball up, 1-1. Thibodeau now hitting .367, leading the 57's. Best batting average on the team. He's going to foul that one out of here. Thibodeau coming into this one in his last 5 games hitting .429, so the native of Omaha, Nebraska is certainly seeing the baseball well. Bauer continuing to battle with Thibodeau as that's fouled into the backstop. Count 1-2, couple of defensive swings from Thibodeau. Fastball is in, and it's a good take. Two-two pitch, Braun. That gets a piece of Cole Thibodeau in the leg. And Thibodeau wears one to get to first. 3 plate appearances, 3 times on base for the second baseman. Top of the order now, and Riley Campbell due up for Swift. Campbell 1 for 3, singling his last time up. Campbell's been a difference maker for the Swift Current 57's this season. First pitch from Trevor Bauer is a called strike. And Campbell's going to step out of the batter's box and rethink his approach with a pitch that looked about letter high, being called strike 1 in this count. Shot by Campbell, and it's another single for the native of Wadsworth. As he advances Cole Thibodeau to second, belting one in the 5-6 gap. Campbell now 2 for 4 in this game. As we see Cole Thibodeau at second base. So there's nobody out and 2 runners on base for the Swift Current 57's. Not an entirely unfamiliar scenario tonight for Swift, but they have been able to get these guys across the plate. Campbell on at first, Thibodeau at second. First pitch to Conyers, 1-0 count. Conyers with a single and a sacrifice bunt to advance runners. Riley Campbell representing the tying run at first base. Fastball up. Conyers thought about it. Strike called. And Conyers steps out to rethink his approach. Pitch taken by Conyers for ball 2. Fort McMurray warming up Kyle Gomez, a junior from Burleson, Texas, in their bullpen. Right-handed pitcher. As Trevor Bauer closing in on 100 pitches on the ball game. 2-1 pitch to Conyers. Conyers belts that into right field. That'll one-hop the right fielder and load up the bases. Cole Thibodeau. Riley Campbell. And Nick Conyers all on. And the bases are loaded with none out and Blake Adams to the plate. And we'll get a mound visit here as Kyle Gomez ups the intensity of his workout in the Fort McMurray bullpen. Fort McMurray International Airport not too far away from here, and there's a couple fans aboard that float plane getting a bird's eye view of this contest. There's Kyle Gomez, number 00, heating up for Fort Mac. Bases loaded and none out here. Gomez 7 appearances, all in relief. 11 2/3 innings. 12-7 strikeout to walk ratio, ERA of 4.62. You have to think that his arrival into this game is imminent. So the 57's with their RB guy at the plate now with the bases loaded and none out. They trail it 2-0. Biggest at bat of the game now as Blake Adams fouls that towards the Fort Mac dugout. Adams 2 for 2 and was hit by a pitch the last time up. 100 pitch mark just reached by Bauer. Here's 101. Swinging strike. Adams out in front of a changeup, and there's 2 strikes against Blake Adams. Kyle McDonald on deck. Bases loaded. '57's trail 2-0. They have since the bottom of the second. Blake Adams with one swing of the bat could change that with 2 speedy guys on the bases. Defensive swing from Adams, protecting the plate in what's been a somewhat swollen strike zone at times. And the count remains 0-2. Oh-2 pitch with the bases loaded. Not before Trevor Bauer steps off the mound. 6 innings of shutout ball for Trevor Bauer. Top of the 7th, bases loaded and none out. High heat, up and out, 1-2. 103 pitches thrown by Bauer. 6 innings, 10 hits. He struck out 4 along the way. It's a huge at bat for the 57's. Nobody out here, and the base is loaded. Bauer. Breaking ball from the sidearm right. He drops in low, and it's 2-2. Two-two pitch. Belted foul by Adams. Bauer really starting to favor that right arm. Normally utilized as a relief pitcher, but it's thrown 105 pitches through 6 innings thus far. Still looking for the first out of the 7th. And it's a fastball up to Adams. Just grazed his chin, and full count now. Ball 4 puts the 57's on the board as Kyle Gomez continues to warm up in the Fort Mac bullpen. That high inside pitch, I think, may have lit a fire under Adams. 3-2. Shot by Adams. That's going to be a single into left field. 1 will score. 2 will score. And the 57's with 1 swing of the bat tie it up, and Blake Adams sneaks back door to second, Nick Conyas to third. That's exactly what the doctor ordered for the Swift Current 57's. Their guy at the plate. Bases loaded, none out, and Blake Adams delivers a single into left, scoring 2. And it's a whole new ball game. Still none out as well with Kyle McDonald to the plate. And runners on at second and third. Can the big man from Mississauga give the 57's their first lead of the ball game? Evan Willow pops out from behind the plate to go have a chat with Trevor Bauer. A heck of a start by Trevor Bauer, blemished by that RBI single from Blake Adams that brought in 2 runs. Adams now standing at second base. Nick Conyas moving to third. Swinging strike from Kyle McDonald. And 1-1 the count. That was the 11th hit of the ball game for the 57's, who had stranded 8 coming into the 7th. They finally get 2 across. Pitch is low, blocked by Willow. Count 2-1. Blake Adams at second, Nick Conyas at third. McDonald, foul ball towards the Swift dugout. James Smith, who's kept his pitch count nice and slow, will likely be back. Shot by McDonald. Hit into left field. Conyas tags up, and Conyas will come in to score. Sack fly RBI from McDonald. And now the 57's have put up 3 runs here. A 3-run 7th, and Swift is leading for the first time in this one, and that is going to be the ball game for Trevor Bauer. 112 pitch outing for Bauer. And he will exit to applause here. Bauer 6 1/3, 11 hits, 3 runs, all earned, striking out 4, didn't walk anyone. Faced 31 batters. Kyle Gamez comes in to pitch for Fort Mac. This will be appearance number 8 for the bespectacled reliever on the year. Gamez out of Burleson, Texas. 11 2/3 innings of work. He's allowed 8 hits, only 6 earned runs. He's struck out 12 and walked 7. 4.62 earned run average for 00. Kyle Gamez will give him a chance to get warmed up. And we'll be back with more Swift Current 57's baseball. Swift has taken their first lead of this contest, 3-2. They'll try and add to it right after these.
At Crop Production Services, we're on in our commitment to farming. As in, it's on, lights on, game on this day and every day. Because through seeding, spraying, and harvest, on isn't an option. It's a marathon of on for farmers. On track, on time, always on. Like CPS in your community. So much riding on your farm. So many ways to profit from our experience. Bring it on. CPS, we're with you.
Thank you to Swift Current Building Supplies for providing the materials for the new patio at Mitchell Field.
See Swift Current Building Supplies for all types of lumber, kitchen hardware, tools, power tools, fence, and shed packings.
At your one stop, we carry everything shop for building and renovation.
Building supplies, farm and ranch, construction, paints, and decor. Swift Current Building Supplies, Swift Current's complete home and farm building supply center. Highway 1 West.
So Kyle Gamez brought in to stop the bleeding here. 1 out, 7th inning. Swift Current 57's have put up 3, and they're looking for more. Brett Esau to the plate, who's 1 for 3. Blake Adams at second base. After Adams drove in a couple runs with a RBI single. So Kyle Gamez has a look at Blake Adams. Blake Adams headed to third base, and the throw is just thrown away by the catcher, but Adams not aware of where that ball is, and maybe in a bit of a bad way at third. Adams may have hurt himself on that slide. Evan Willow popped up and threw it towards the Fort McMurray dugout. And Blake Adams slid, and he could have easily got home, but in a bad way. .57's all smiles after that 3-run 7th. Still in progress. Adams staying put on base. Fastball from Esau, or to Esau from Gamez. 1 hops the catcher. Blake Adams with stolen base number 14 of his season moments ago. Blake Adams at the top of your screen. And ball 4 to Esau. Runners on the corners. for Grant Van Scoy. Scoy getting on base by an E5. He's also had a single and grounded out. So Grant Van Scoy, he's been a tough out for the Fort McMurray Giants in this one. Tries to get a bunt down, but sent foul, one away, and runners on the corners. Blake Adams, we hope he's okay after he seemingly hurt himself sliding into third on a stolen base. Games. Van Scoy out in front of the changeup. So an 0-2 count to Grant Van Scoy with one away here and runners on the corners. Fastball out. Willow catches it. 1-2. Fort McMurray warming up an arm in their bullpen. Nicholas Cardinal limbers up. Runner in motion. Strike three. Brett Esau, though, swipes second base. So Van Scoy goes down swinging, two away. Runners on at second and third, though. Two in scoring position for Mason Brown. Trevor Bauer had the number of Mason Brown, striking him out twice. We'll see how Brown fails or fares against Kyle Games. See how he fares. Games. I sure hope Mason gets a hit now after that. Two down, runners on at second and third. 57's have put three up in this seventh inning. First pitch from Games finds the strike zone. 0-1. Fastball in for strike two. Blake Adams at third, Brett Esau at second. Blake Adams with a bases loaded single that brought in two. And Mason Brown drills one right at us up here off the roof and just below us. Deuce's wild count to Brown. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. And 2 on for him. Seventh inning. Swift with a 3-2 lead as they've put up 3 here thus far. Brown with a shot to left field, but getting where he needs to be and making the catch is Stickler. Well hit ball by Brown. 57 strand a couple, but they score 3 and have their first lead of the ball game. To the bottom of 7 we go. James Smith III will try and keep his team up by 1. 57's baseball returns after these.
Celebrate the wonders of our nation this July at Living Sky Casino. Players Club members can swipe daily for their chance to win a train trip across Canada in our From Far and Wide promotion. Bonus entries are also available. Grand prize draw July 31st at 8 p.m. Must be present to win. See Players Club for more details.
Living Sky Casino. Living Sky.
Use your game sense.
At Crop Production Services, we're on in our commitment to farming. As in, it's on, lights on, game on this day and every day. Because through seeding, spraying, and harvest, on isn't an option. It's a marathon of on for farmers. On track, on time, always on. Like CPS in your community. So much riding on your farm. So many ways to profit from our experience. Bring it on. CPS, we're with you.
Welcome back to Swift Current 57's Baseball. Glad you could join us wherever you may be. 57's now with a one-run lead to protect. Bottom of 7. They stranded 2 but put up 3 in the top of the 7th. So some run support for James Smith. Benitez, Josh Snyder, and Evan Willow due up. Six, 7, 8. Or pardon me, 5, 6, 7. Nope, 6, 7, 8. I was right before. Benitez, Snyder, and Evan Willow due up. Well hit ball by Benitez. Nick Conyas in center field makes the catch. Another fly out to 8. Josh Snyder to the plate. Early on this webcast, we speculated that Snyder may have been ejected from this game as the home plate umpire popped out from where he was crouched down, said something to the dugout, and then Snyder disappeared to the Fort Mac dressing room. However, he was just going to get a spike to clean the shoes. Fouls that off himself, the designated hitter, who's 1 for 2 tonight. Has a run scored as well. Snyder hitting .268 coming into this at bat. $18 games played on the year for Snyder. Ground ball. It's Kyle McDonald. James Smith is there to cover. So Evan Willow to the plate, 2 down now. James Smith, 73 pitches. There's number 74, a ground ball to Grant Van Scoy. Van Scoy orchestrates a 6-3. 7 innings of work for James Smith. 73 pitches to get there. 2 runs for Fort Mac in the bottom of the 2nd, the only blemish for James Smith III in this one. Top of 8 coming up. Swift Current will look to add to a 3-2 lead. This is 57's Baseball, brought to you by Living Sky Casino and Crop Production Services.
Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky.
Win a jackpot on a select bank of machines to be entered into the weekly draw for rider tickets and merchandise. Draw to be held every Sunday at 8 p.m. Winner does not need to be present to win, but you must be playing with your card to win. Live it up at Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky.
Use your game sense. When planning your Swift Current stay, call the Days Inn. Just a short walk from Living Sky Casino and a few minutes from world-class golf, Days Inn offers free Wi-Fi, a continental breakfast to go with newly renovated rooms. Ask about suites with kitchenettes, unwind in the jacuzzi suite. If you're driving a large truck, no problem. There's lots of free parking. The Days Inn is home to locally renowned meeting and banquet facilities as well. Call 306-773-4623. The Days Inn, the host hotel for the Swift Current 57's.
Welcome back to Swift Current 57's Baseball. Ryan Schweitzer bringing you the action between the 57's and the Fort Mac Giants. Ben Andrews leading off for the 57's. A 3-2 lead for Swift. 8-9-1 due up here for the 57's. Top of the 8th inning, they lead at 3-2. A 3-run 7th, Kyle Gamez. Back for another inning of work, coming on in relief last inning. Ben Andrews. Hard hit ground ball to Max Hewitt. And Hewitt gets Andrews to ground out. Cole Thibodeau's found a way on base every time he's stepped into the batter's box tonight. 2 singles, and he's been hit by a pitch. First pitch from Gamez is a fastball. High and inside that Thibodeau gets out of the way of, and 1-1. Thibodeau with his back foot right at the back of the batter's box. Sees that pitch drop in for a strike, 1-1 now. Gamez induces a fly ball. Thibodeau hits that to center field. Hector Benitez makes the catch. '57's turn the order over again as Riley Campbell comes to the plate for the 5th time this game. First pitch to Campbell is high. Ball. Gamez. Change up. Swinging strike. 1-1. Count now 1-1. Campbell gets a piece of that, hits it to left field, could be trouble. That's going to drop in, and Riley Campbell scampers to second base. And it's a 2-out double. As Campbell puts himself in scoring position, setting the table for Nick Kanyas, who has 2 hits and a successful sac bunt that advanced runners earlier this game. So Nick Kanyas with 2 away here in the top of the 8th inning. We'll take a turn. Campbell's hit the 12th by the 57s. Kanyas way out in front of a changeup. Count 0-1. Stray baseball on the field from the Fort McMurray Giants bullpen, where Nicholas Cardinal's warming up. Oh, 1 the count to Kanyas. Fort Mac tries to nab Riley Campbell off the base.
Yeah, what do? Accidentally press a button.
Count 0-1. Good take by Kanyas. Pitch is outside. And now 2-1 with 2 away. Breaking ball to Kanyas, and now 3-1 the count. Blake Adams warms up on deck. Saw Adams steal third base, sliding into third, as he was favoring something when he got up. Adams was. As Kanyas walks, good to see Adams back in action. And visit now. '57's in Fort McMurray tonight. Top of the 8th inning. They'll bust Edmonton tomorrow. 7:05 first pitch against the Edmonton Prospects, a rematch of last year's WMBL final. Games in Edmonton tomorrow and Friday, and then the 57's next home game is going to be Saturday night in Moose Jaw. So they'll get back from Edmonton at about 5 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning. Get a few winks of sleep Saturday afternoon before hosting the Moose Jaw Miller Express at home on Saturday night. '57's 2 weeks into July have only had one home game, and that was a makeup game this past Saturday against the Weyburn Beavers. So the 57's have spent a lot of time on the bus over the past few weeks and will continue to do so. Baseball almost every day. We've seen some wear and tear on the 57's. Bodie Cooper staying home from Fort McMurray in Edmonton. Back in Swift, recovering from a lower body injury. Riley Campbell missed 2 games. This is his second game back, and he's in fine form. He's got 3 hits, 3 for 5 in this one. He'll be at second base when Nicholas Cardinal is all done throwing his warm-up pitches. So considering the meat grinder of a schedule that the Swift Current 57's have had over the past few weeks, they've come out relatively unscathed. We'll knock on wood as we say so. Blake Adams, who is a little bit shaken up, sliding into third base, will now take a turn at the plate. Adams 2 more RBI this game, bringing his seasonal total up to 34. Runner on at second base is Riley Campbell, doing what he does, trying to get in the mind of the pitcher. Pitch to Adams, fastball, low and away. Swinging strike one. Nick Kanyas at first base, who drew a walk earlier in the 8th. 2 away here. Fort Mac gave up 3 in the 7th here in the top of the 8th. They're trying to get out unscathed. Blake Adams with 2 RBI this game, looking for more. 1 hopper off the plate. And it's a 1-1 count. One pitch from Cardinal. Not before time is called by the home plate umpire. Riley Campbell, as the pitcher looks at him, dances between second and third base. Two strikes against Blake Adams with 2 away here. The fans in Fort McMurray trying to clap out the slugger from Longview, Texas. 1-2 pitch, Nick Cardinal. 1 hopper off the plate. Deuce is wild now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away, 2 on. Runner at second base is Riley Campbell. Nick Kanyas is at first. One of the finest RBI generators in the league at the plate now. Called strike 3 on a pitch that caught the outside corner. Blake Adams caught looking. Bottom of 8 coming up. James Smith and the Swift Current 57's will do their best to protect this 1-run lead when we return with Swift Current 57's baseball. (9-1-2) due up for the Fort McMurray Giants. In front of about 400 on hand here. Corey Conklin 0 for 2. Ground ball. Cole Thibodeau at second base. And Conklin grounds out via the 4-3. First time Cole Thibodeau's number's been called defensively in this one, as James Smith and the 57's roll up that ground ball out. Jordan Stickler to the plate now. He's grounded out to the pitcher, been hit by a pitch, and flew out to left field where Blake Adams is. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and a 3-2 lead for the Swift Current 57's. And he's thrown out at first. Jordan Stickler is. Brings Tyler Freeze to the plate. Freeze has flown out, advanced runners with a successful sac bunt and walked in this one. James Smith, fastball, no doubter. Strike one. Smith, one hopper just in front of the plate, 1-1. Freese. Foul ball that doesn't get out of the batter's box. And the count is 1-2. James Smith induces a fly ball. Blake Adams chases that down in left field and makes the grab. And the 57's make quick work of the Fort McMurray Giants. Back with more 57's baseball after these.
Celebrate the wonders of our nation this July at Living Sky Casino. Players Club members can swipe daily for their chance to win a train trip across Canada in our From Far and Wide promotion. Bonus entries are also available. Grand prize draw July 31st at 8 p.m. Must be present to win. See Players Club for more details.
Living Sky Casino.
Use your game sense.
At Crop Production Services, we're on in our commitment to farming. As in, it's on, lights on, game on this day and every day. Because through seeding, spraying, and harvest, on isn't an option. It's a marathon of on for farmers. On track, on time, always on. Like CPS in your community. So much riding on your farm. So many ways to profit from our experience. Bring it on. CPS, we're with you.
Ninth inning, here we go. '57's have a 3-2 lead. And they would love to add to it here in the top of the ninth. Elsewhere in the WNBL, Okotoks Dogs leading the Brooks Bombers 14-4 in Brooks. That's in the bottom of the eighth. In the top of the seventh, Lethbridge Bulls and Medicine Hat Mavericks. A slugfest in the hat. It's 9-9. Regina Red Sox with a 12-2 lead on the Yorkton Cardinals in Regina. That's in the top of the ninth, so victory looking imminent for the Regina Red Sox. And earlier today, the Melville Millionaires cooling off the red-hot Weyburn Beavers with a 5-3 win in Weyburn. Weyburn going into that one on a bit of a streak, having earned victories over teams ahead of them in the standings, including our 57's and Regina. Kyle McDonald, ground ball, hits it to second base. Corey Conklin orchestrates a 4-3 to take care of McDonald. One out here, bottom of the ninth. Brett Esau to the plate. 3-2 lead for the Swift Current 57's. Nicholas Cardinal in this one, pitching for Fort McMurray. Game has going 1 1/3, allowing 1 hit, walking 2, striking out 1, facing 7 batters. Prior to that, Trevor Bauer, kudos to him for a good start tonight. His first start of the year for Fort McMurray, and the relief pitcher went 6 1/3. Yeah, 11 hits allowed, but he struck out 4, 3 earned runs. All those earned runs coming in his last inning of work as Brett Esau comes to the plate. Esau 1 for 3. Pitch low and away from Cardinal. Count is 2-1. Grant Van Scoy on deck for Swift. Three and one count to Esau, whose team is looking for some insurance here. 57's have out-hit Fort McMurray. 12-3 in this one. 3-1 pitch to Esau. Belts it into left field. Hit back. Way back. Not coming back. Sixth home run of the year for the native of Meadow Lake, Brett Esau, as he belts one towards Franklin Avenue in Fort Mac. And a little bit of insurance for the 57's as they now lead 4-2 after that solo bomb from Brett Esau. No doubter rocketing off the bat head. And now Grant Van Scoy to the plate with his team up 4-2. Nicholas Cardinal, fastball up and in. Brett Esau, now with his share of the team lead in home runs. That's his sixth of the year. Seeing something he could drive and belting it over the wall in left field. Well, the thick air from the low elevation community of Fort Mac, lowest elevation in the league, did not deprive Esau of that one. And it's a 3-0 count to Grant Van Scoy. Van Scoy takes 3-0 fastball, now 3-1. .303 batting average coming into this at-bat for Van Scoy as he takes a hack at an offering low and away from Nick Cardinal. And a full count now with one down, and the 57's up 4-2. Esau a solo dinger on Swift Current's 13th hit of the ballgame. Van Scoy is going to take a walk in 6 here.
Number 9, Mason Brown.
Last night for the 57's, Dustin Wells, a complete game shutout. Tonight, the score 4-2 for the 57's. James Smith, with a ridiculously low number of pitches in this one, will likely come out for the 9th. And wouldn't that be something? Back-to-back complete games for the 57's. That's going to do it for Nick Cardinal. As Fort Mac wants to keep this one close. So they summon Dave Harrison from the bullpen. A lefty. Let's come in and face Mason Brown. So Dave Erickson comes in. Sherwood Park, Alberta. 57 saw him last night as he worked 2 innings, allowed an earned run, gave up 2 hits, faced 8 batters and struck out 2. Harrison 0-1 on the year. 9 appearances all in relief, 2.25 earned run average. 12 innings of work. He struck out 3 and walked 5, allowing 11 hits in those 12 innings of work. 1 out here, and the lefty will look to take care of Mason Brown. Dave Erickson pitching to Evan Willow, Garrett Takamatsu at first, Corey Conklin at second, Max Hewitt at short, Keegan Marston at third base, Jordan Stickler in left, Hector Benitez in center, Tyler Freese on duty patrolling right field. Grant Van Scoy on at first base. Four 4-2 lead for the Swift Current 57's. Brett Esau has a solo home run here in the top of the ninth. Erickson, the lefty, looks Van Scoy. Van Scoy in motion. Throw just a bit in front of the base. And Van Scoy sliding in with a successful stolen base. It's Van Scoy's 7th swiped bag of the year. 2-0 count. Mason Brown has struck out twice and flown out. Foul ball that pinballs off the overhang structure here. What a magnificent baseball complex here in Fort McMurray. Speaking of magnificent baseball complexes, 57's will be in the 10,000-seat Remax Field tomorrow night, taking on the Edmonton Prospects. A rematch of last year's WNBL final. 57's sweeping that best of 5 in 3 games, winning Game 3 5-2 in Edmonton, as Mason Brown fouls another one off. Mason Brown hits that one to left field. And making the catch is Jordan Stickler for the second out of the top of the ninth. Ben Andrews' 5th at bat of the game with a runner on at second base. Andrews. Coming into this at bat, hitting .211 on the year. Grant Van Scoy at second base with 2 down. 57's top of the ninth, up by 2. Pitch stays up. And it's a 2-0 to Andrews. 3 home runs, 13 runs batted in on the year. No wind to speak of right now in Fort McMurray. Shot by Andrews, hit into foul territory. Garrett Takamatsu may have a play, and he does. He makes the catch right in front of the 57's bullpen. So heading to the bottom of the ninth, 2 will have to be enough for the 57's. Brett Esau gives them some insurance in the ninth inning with a solo home run, his 6th of the year. James Smith III in the 57's 2-run lead heading into the bottom of the ninth. Back with more baseball after this.
Win a jackpot on a select bank of machines to be entered into the weekly draw for rider tickets and merchandise. Draw to be held every Sunday at 8 p.m. Winner does not need to be present to win, but you must be playing with your card to win. Live it up at Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky Casino.
Living Sky.
Live it up.
Use your game sense. When planning your Swift Current stay, call the Days Inn. Just a short walk from Living Sky Casino and a few minutes from world-class golf, Days Inn offers free Wi-Fi, a continental breakfast to go with newly renovated rooms. Ask about suites with kitchenettes, unwind in the jacuzzi suite. If you're driving a large truck, no problem. There's lots of free parking. The Days Inn is home to locally renowned meeting and banquet facilities as well. Call 306-773-4623. The Days Inn, the host hotel for the Swift Current 57's.
Welcome back to Swift Current 57's baseball. Keel Crumweed has been handed the mop, and he'll come in and try and close this out. 57's really wanting to utilize Crumweed as their closer. Pitching-wise, Crumweed, 3 appearances, all in relief, 4.2 innings of work. He's allowed 3 hits, struck out 6 and walked 1. He's 1-0 with a save on the year. And Crumweed's ERA in those 3 appearances so far spotless, ERA of 0. Matt Bondarchuk will come in to play center field where Nick Kanyas was. That's the other defensive substitution. Lead for the 57's is 2. James Smith III went 8 for the 57's, allowing only 3 hits, 2 earned runs, no strikeouts for Smith, and he walked 1. So Keel Crumweed comes in and tries to be the coffin nail against Fort McMurray. Three, 4, 5 due up for Fort Mac, so not in a bad spot in their batting order to try and get something going here in the bottom of the 9th. Max Hewitt, Keegan Marston, Garrett Takamatsu due up. This part of the order, though, a combined 1 for 8 tonight. James Smith pitched well tonight. 2 runs in the second inning, scoreless innings beyond that. Swinging strike. And down goes Hewitt. A crumb dinger of a fastball from Keel Crumweed. And that's a tough out. And Hewitt back to the dugout. Crumweed looking for his 2nd save of the year. Fastball just a bit up, 1-0. Count 1-1. Fouled off. Strike 2. Count now 1-2. One-two pitch. Crumweed to Marston. Marston fouls that off. Marston .297 on the year for a batting average. His team's down by 2 here in the bottom of the 9th. Strike 3. Out in front of a changeup. And you can't spell Keel Crumweed without 2 Ks, and that's what he has so far in the 9th. 2 away. Garrett Takamatsu represents the last offensive opportunity for Fort Mac here. 1 for 3 with a run scored. Crumweed, fastball, strike one. Crumweed. High and in, 1-1 count, 2 away. 57's move on to Edmonton tomorrow after 2 nights in Fort McMurray. 7:05 first pitch from Remax Field. We'll have that for you. Strike two as Crumweed paints the outside corner. And Keel Crumweed in the Swift Current 57's. 1 strike away. 1-2 pitch. Strike three. They'll throw him out at first on the dropped third strike. Kyle McDonald will touch the base after a mini adventure with the ball. And that'll do it. Keel Crumweed comes in and locks down the save. James Smith III will get the win, his 5th of the year. And the Swift Current 57's take 2 out of Fort McMurray. 5-0 last night, 4-2 tonight. Our Swift Current Indians player of the game, we're giving it to Blake Adams tonight. A couple RBI, 3 for 4 on the game. As Adams tied this ball game up with 1 swing of the bat back in the 7th inning. So Swift gets out of Fort Mac with 2 wins. They will move on to Edmonton to take on the Prospects. We'll have that webcast for you. 7:05 first pitch from Remax Field in Edmonton. Thank you very much for joining us tonight for another edition of Swift Current 57's Baseball. Good night from Fort McMurray.